This is getting a bit boring.
What is?
Another weekend of rugby,
Oh, let's not do
another
that.
Welsh loss, another Irish win.
Oh.
It's becoming monotonous.
All right.
Do you know what somebody said to me in the gym this morning? They went, this boy, he's in his 70s, John. Oh, you boys are doing well. You're on a wave. And I said, yeah, but every 4 years, our wave, right, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger until October, and then it crashes. So
Nah, this is different now. Yeah, totally different side. When I watching them play on the weekend, it's a totally different side.
people probably don't want to hear about rugby again. United won the Carabao Cup yesterday. I don't know who won the horse racing.
What the hell is that? Carabao Cup?
It's the League Cup. Football. There's four anyways.
Wrong shape ball. I would not have a clue.
Chat today because me and you have maybe difference of opinions in leasing, and more specifically car leasing. Although, do you know what I did see on the weekend? I was
warmer in the car than it would be in this blinking office at the minute.
I know. The landlord, he hasn't sorted out the
He hasn't paid his bills or anything.
He'd probably listen to this and quit apologising.
No, the boiler's packed in, so it's like typically it's like 1 degree outside today.
Do you know,
when's the summer coming?
We're officially still in winter, aren't we? Till the end of the
month.
Well,
really?
Yeah.
It's almost March.
That's spring, isn't it?
It's summer, isn't it?
Spring.
I don't know seasons. Honestly.
Talking about leasing, I was in the museum in Cardiff yesterday, and they have a BBC what thing I'm called? Show.
In where?
In the museum.
What, it's like the history of the BBC?
Yeah.
Really?
Going back to the 50s, and they have a mock-up of a living room from the 70s.
Oh, with a TV like that.
And the furniture and all that. It looked like our house back in the 80s.
What now?
Yeah. But it showed different things, and one of them was on about leasing TVs. And it was something like 200 quid for a TV.
Because that was like, who did that? Because a load of rugby players at Pontypridd worked for a company.
No, even before that. I know who you're on about there. They sponsored the Celtic Warriors, I think, didn't they? For Buy
As You View?
Buy As You View, something like that. Something like
Neil
that.
Jenkins was like their business development manager or something like that.
But this was going back to the 70s or 60s, where it was 200 quid for a TV, but not many people took it up because you had to pay more for black and white, for a colour license than a black and white.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
And then it went on to the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and they even had the TV news stage from the last day in Llandaff, along with the camera. So you can the kids can sit there and they have scripts, and you can read the script as you're a newsreader and all that.
That's
really
cool.
good. But yeah, they'd leasing in on that. Leasing. See, we have
lease anything these days.
You can lease anything, can't you?
You can virtually lease your takeaway the way things like Klarna. It's not good at that.
Yeah,
I think I bore everyone with that every week.
I think when you start, did you know? Yeah, we already know. But there's so many cars or new cars on the road now.
That's you can't buy a second-hand one because they're difficult to get hold of.
But there is the issue that everyone wants to keep up with the Joneses, and you want to buy new, because we all want to buy new. And I'm not standing here trying to preach to somebody which way leasing is good or bad, because we all want to have the newest and the best of everything, me included. And I've
only had 2 new cars in my life.
I've had about 4, but they were work cars and all that. But I'm like a kid in a toy shop when I see a new car and that. So I'm not saying, you don't. But when you look at the numbers, so many people want or drive expensive cars at the moment. And I'm going to make a sweeping statement that I think a lot of them are leased, because if you see any kind of electric car, seems to be twice the price of a normal. So many Teslas out there and all that. And I'm just putting my hand up and saying, I think not many people are spending 70 grand cash on a Tesla and stuff. So I think a lot of people are leasing.
Why would you chuck 70 grand at a car?
No, but that's what I'm saying. I think a lot of people are leasing.
Most people haven't got 70 grand to buy a car. Most people haven't got 5 grand to buy a car with.
No, but they still lease.
Yeah, because you don't have to find 5 grand.
But my whole point is,
the reason you lease is because you can have a new car instead of paying £8,000 for a second-hand car, which will break down in a couple of weeks' time.
No, well,
they're the ones you see on the side of the road.
No.
It is, isn't it? Well, then again, you do see new ones and you break them down.
They're the ones that had the big badge on them, that cost 80
You get the
grand.
warranty, you get generally get servicing these days with new cars.
No, you don't. You pay for that.
No, you don't. They generally come with them now.
Oh.
My second-hand, my Audi came with 2 years worth of servicing. Second-hand, that's standard with Audi.
Yeah, second hand. You bought it.
Yeah, but my dad's new ones, free servicing. I think you have it a lot.
Right.
Not all people, though.
I'm going to try
Come on,
and
man.
make a point. Right, here you go. I'm going to use 2 cars of a similar thing because you can't compare an Audi A1 and a Tesla because they're not. Right. A Mercedes, a C-Class Merc.
I had one of those.
Nice cars.
Still going. Someone's driving around Caerphilly now.
You see? And it's a second-hand car and it doesn't break down.
Well, it's a Mercedes, isn't it?
That's why I picked the Mercedes.
Don't buy a BMW.
That's why I've picked the Mercedes. Right. C-Class Merc, brand new, out of the wrapper, £43,000.
Yep, okay.
Checked earlier on, lease is £5,509 down as a lump sum. Okay?
Yeah, that's not standard though, is it? Okay. That can be different.
Leasing then, over 48 months.
Yeah.
What is it? £612.22 a month. 48 months.
Wow, that's gone up loads. I paid £330 £380 a month.
Before VAT. Now, I know you can get them if you're a business and all that. $734.66 a month with VAT on a C-Class 43 grand Merc.
I was paying $380 for mine, and mine was an old 62 plate. They've gone up, and it's
so
the cost of...
in 4 years, you have paid 48 times 734.66 plus the 5509. You have paid in the 4 years on your 43 grand car, £40,772.
Or more it's actually worth?
Slightly.
That can't be right.
What's the asset value of the car then after the 4 years?
Well, it'll be less than 50%.
Well, it's zero for you, isn't it? Because you're having to give it back if you're leasing it.
Yeah, but you get an option to sell it on, don't you?
Yeah, but you have to find more cash.
Yeah, you're gonna think. But it's not your car at the end.
If you do nothing, you're giving that back.
Wow, is that the price of leasing these days?
Now, a 2020 C-Class Merc, so 2.5, 3 years old.
Okay,
yeah. With 32,000 miles,
yes.
So it's okay. 24 grand.
Okay.
Now, put your 5509 down, the same lump sum as the lease. So we're trying to compare apples and apples.
19 grand.
You have something like 18.4 of a loan. 4.9%. I checked it today. I know everyone won't get that. I know.
You'd be like, if you get that, you'd be like, if you get 9%.
I got offered it this morning.
All right.
424 a month. Okay. 48 times 424 plus your deposit is 25,865. You've paid.
But you probably wouldn't even have to put a deposit into that either.
No.
Being a second-hand car.
But I was trying to just compare.
Which still be cheaper than buying the brand new one.
Now, depreciate 10% a year, compounded. So take 10% off the 24.
Depreciation should be less now second-hand anyway, wouldn't it?
Your asset at the end is 15,746. So I understand. My whole point is to almost say to people, I think we all chase having the nicety of the 23 plate and something like that. And I'm guilty as I'm like a jackdaw blackbird. I love the shiny new things. So I'm not saying it's the wrong thing. But when you do the numbers on that...
Yeah, but a good 2 or 3-year-old car is still going to be nice inside.
Absolutely. That's my whole point. And you said it earlier about if it breaks down, warranties, £800 a year maximum on that Merc is an extra £66 a month. Nothing goes wrong.
And those Mercedes go for years. They'll go on and on.
And other than the MOT...
Which is what, 35 quid?
Yeah. You're still having to pay the same unless you add in as extras, tyres, servicing and all that. So, you're paying 15 grand more over 4 years. And at the end of 4 years, you've got 15 grand of an asset against nothing. So the difference is technically 30 grand in 4 years. So hence my point. I understand the concept of leasing and I've done it myself over years. But when you throw down the numbers and they're not exact, fine, one of them might be a 1.9 litre and the other one might be a 2 litre. But as a comparison, C-Class Mercs and that, which as you say, go forever and ever.
Yeah.
The cost of leasing is astronomical now. So when you see all of these brand new cars out there...
And that's going to be down to the cost of financing, isn't it?
Yeah. But it shows that the cost of lifestyle is very, very expensive at the moment.
Wow.
Because if somebody needs a car for work, that's a living expense. Well, you can buy the same C-Class Merc 3 years older to get you from home to work and back for 30 grand less over 4 years than buying the car. It is lovely having the brand new car.
So, looking at those lease figures, right, it'd be cheaper for you to get a loan, if you get one, for 38,000.
Probably.
You'd struggle to get that. Well, you probably get a car finance with it's the same with a balloon at the end. It'll probably be better.
Yeah.
Would probably be cheaper than leasing that anyway.
Yeah. There's loads of different options, isn't there, for the lease?
Yeah, well, it's the same with the second-hand one. There are some options at that age of car. I think up to 7 years, they can put like a HP type finance which has got a balloon on the end, which means your monthly payments will be less.
But it just shows, the whole point is, I think people are living. Everyone seems to be complaining about the cost of living, and all you hear is at least 6 times a day the cost of living. That's an example of it isn't the cost of living. That's the cost of lifestyle. I want a shiny 100%. New thing.
I get that. I get people want to have shiny new cars. And
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. It is nice to have a new car. Like I say, I've only ever, most of mine have been kind of second hand. And I generally change my car every 2 to 3 years.
And you know that feeling when you go there and they give you the keys and it's all clean. There's 8 miles on it, and you drive off and you drive around and you're playing with the buttons. That's a lovely feeling. Bloody expensive though. It shows it costs something.
Yeah. And actually, to probably go against what I kind of said in the instance about second-hand cars breaking down, new cars can break down as well, and I've kind of seen it. I've had experience with the last car that I had where how many times did it go in for recalls and things
it wasn't
were
the breaking down. It was more so the boot opening, on its own on a regular basis.
Yeah. Park up in Cardiff city centre, come back, your boot's wide open, and luckily no one has stolen all my stuff out of there.
And so it seems to only open. It's a bit like the wipers. It was automatic. When the rain came, bang.
Oh, it did, didn't it? Yeah. I remember waking up in the morning outside the house and the boot of my car was wide open, and they couldn't find out what a problem was. Well, I said there is a problem because this is what happens all the time. And the other one was the water tank for the windscreen washers, right? The way they positioned it, and it was a design fault, that the piping, the way it kind of went, that you could only fill it up by dribbling water in. It'd take you about 2 hours to fill your water tank up. It was the first version of the X3, the new model X3 in 2018, and it was hands down the worst car I've ever had. Sound like a tractor. Genuinely, you turn the car on. It was literally was like a tractor.
I hope Chris cuts that little bit, and we're going to use it on a regular basis.
Right, it was literally a tractor. Worst car ever.
You did
first BMW I ever had.
Yeah, last one.
Never going to buy one ever again. Sorry, BMW, but awful. Service was awful. Went back. In the end, actually, in fairness, after my numerous conversations with them, they took the car back. Part way through, didn't they? I only had it 18 months, and they took it back because it was looked nice. The sit-in was nice. It was pretty comfy, actually, in fairness. But performance, there was just so many problems with it. And my last straw was when it had a recall for something. I can't remember what it was. There was another recall. I think it was about my 6th recall in 18 months for something wrong with it.
So the main thing that it was designed to do, i.e. get you from A to B, just didn't work. The radio worked, the Bluetooth, the comfort and all that. They aesthetically looked great, but the whole concept of the car, putting fuel into it to get you to a destination, just didn't work.
Yeah, no, it didn't. It was like having a mobile phone which can't make phone calls off.
That's most phones anymore, isn't it? Because they're great at everything else.
Well, yeah, no, they're just social media.
Can I just have a Nokia phone again?
They might as well just call them social media tablets, haven't they? Because that's all they really are for people now, isn't it?
But you remember those old Nokia
That's why everyone's got the hump on the back of their neck. It's not from being a front row forward playing rugby. It's from scrolling like that. So it does.
Do you remember the Nokias?
Social media
with Snake. Do you remember the game Snake? It never went wrong. You could throw it in water, it could fall on the floor.
I never had the attention span for games. I was never good at games because I didn't have the attention span.
Yeah, that's another thing for me.
Games?
No, I don't have attention span.
Well, no, you don't have attention span. But games, you were any good at games?
No, do you know what? I was useless. There's a friend of mine, he came over for the rugby 2 weeks ago. We brought the rugby up again. Sorry, Wales. And when we were living in Ireland, when we got about 16, 17, he got some money and he bought an Xbox, the very first one. And because our house had a slightly bigger TV than his, and we had 2 TVs in our house, his parents went, go up to Shane, and he came most evenings and we played the game. I'll be honest, I was absolute Call of Duty. You know, people are all, they can do this and they're brilliant. I was useless at it. I got killed more often than I killed anyone.
Any of those games?
No good at it.
I can't remember. The most I ever did was on what was Daley Thompson's like Olympic athletics thingy, which was literally on the computer. We to press the like X and Y Z, but on a like keyboard on the acorn.
So there wasn't much effort in it. It was just like X, Y, X, Y, X,
yeah,
Y.
Yeah, the legs going fast. Oh, that, you know what I mean? But I was never into gaming. I had a Game Gear, right? But this just sums it up. I had a Game Gear, but I got a TV tuner attachment for it so I could watch TV on it, not use it for games. I used to play Sonic the Hedgehog, and that was about it. But
I didn't have the hand-eye coordination. But
I had no interest.
I'm good. I have for golf. I can fire a ball and all that. But I don't. That hand-eye coordination of watching a screen and just no good at it. I'm absolutely no good at it.
I never tried.
And my boy now he's got a little Nintendo Switch. And 9 weeks ago, he could not do anything. He was like, I'll tell you what, he's like, ding, bing, 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 bing. It's like, how can you learn something so quickly? I tried it a few weeks ago. I was useless, right? It's like, B.
If you spent enough time doing it, that's what I mean. But if you spend enough time doing it, you'd be able to use it. You can use an iPhone, can't you? Just about.
Too well, my wife says.
Never a big thing for me gaming.
And you can lease them as well.
Oh God, you lease bloody everything, can't you? Let's not get into that.
But it goes back to early. Do you know what? It is one of those things that aesthetically you want things to look nice, and new cars always look lovely because they're a new shape. Everyone takes notice of them. Add in, a new color or a color that's different to the norm, or an internal pack that looks nice. Like you had a nice dark red?
Yeah, interior. I chose the interior.
That was nice.
It was like a reddy brown, wasn't it? The seats.
So you have something like that, and everyone
actually a little bit like the walls.
Everyone looks at it, they take attention, and you kind of feel good about yourself.
It was nice. Do you know what? It was like from a aesthetic point of view, they looked nice as well. The shape of them, because the old XUVs used to be a bit boxy, and I didn't really like them. But the new shape it just didn't run as a. But my father-in-law had exactly the same car. He gave his back as well. Same problems. So it wasn't just a kind of an isolated incident. I think they were a bit of a problem car. Well, judging by the amount of recalls they had.
It's a Mercedes.
My Mercedes was great. It's probably the longest I kept the car, 3 years.
Welcome to the Sanctuary Educate podcast sponsored by Mercedes.
God, that'd be nice. I'd be taking Mercedes as a sponsor. Do you like Mercedes?
They'd give you one of those little smart... Are they
I'll take anything.
Are they Mercedes or are they BMW?
Take anything. I bought my car now. It's 2 years old, isn't it? It's 2 years old now. Bored already.
Well, here's an idea.
Every 2 years, bored.
After listening to my numbers, time to buy now, not lease.
That's second hand.
There you go.
That was 12, 18 months old when I bought it. Yeah.
So, trade in. Put your 5509 down. You can get a lovely C-Class Merc.
Can I borrow the 5509, please?
And we get $424 a month. There you go.
Nice.
Don't need to be buying your brand new car. Some guy will clean it out so it looks like new.
But they usually are when you pick them second hand, don't they?
Put a warranty on it. Don't need to do anything else.
Yeah. Nice.
It'll save you $30,000 over the next 4 years.
It's a lot of cash, isn't it?
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of cash.
That's a year and a half of ISA money, or it's a deposit on a buy to let, and they're big numbers. They're over such a short 48-month period. That's a life-changing amount of money that can allow you to set yourself up for the future.
See, leasing used to be pretty good, didn't it? Do you know what I mean? That was the first new car I had. I leased, actually. That was my Mercedes. That was a lease.
So before you buy, Sorry, before you lease.
You were going down as a try before you buy them, weren't you? That's what you were thinking of. Totally different
I'm still trying to remember that place in Ponty. I know they were on the jersey.
I want to say it's Buy As You View. That's probably wrong. They were on the jersey of Pontypridd, weren't they?
Or was it Celtic Warriors?
No, it was Ponty first, and then did the guy behind that by Celtic Warriors? I can't remember.
I know the one.
No, it's Pontypridd originally, because all the Pontypridd players, well, a lot of them actually were employed by.
It could well be.
There we are.
Speak to you next week when Wales have lost the 4th game in a row.
There's no game next weekend, so we can't lose, thankfully. There's a week off, and another week off.
So you can't lose next week?
And then it'll be, I assume it's 2 on the trot then.
Yes.
Then Super Saturday, the final one.